Most people will never know what's beyond these doors. They'll never know the deafening silence of 100,000 volts. How one step closer can feel too close. Most people will never know what it's like to work where every breath is precious.
Right, welcome back. And most people will never truly understand the dangers faced by those working in high-risk environments. I'm not talking about television. I'm talking about mine workers and firefighters and maintenance workers and the like. And with a belief that every employee should have access to maximum protection and safety gear, personal protective equipment brand Dromex recently launching its first ever television campaign showing the true heroes of the South African economy. It's a good idea. Lyndall Farrer is with us, marketing manager for the brand, along with Brandon Govender, executive creative director at the FCB agency in Durban. To both of you, a very warm welcome. Lyndall, to you first of all, educate me. Safety gear, what are we talking about here? Gloves, helmets, that sort of thing.
Exactly that. So anything that protects a worker in their direct environment. So if they're dealing with a hazardous fume or gas, a respiratory device, a glove that could protect from sharp objects, a hard hat, even safety wear for your feet, and even workwear is our largest range.
This is an area which I have never ventured into, so what you're going to tell me now, how big is the sector and how competitive is it?
It's a lot bigger and competitive than what most people imagine. Obviously, health and safety, there's growing awareness globally around this issue.
And there's new legislation in this country.
New legislation that's constantly being developed. And obviously, cost in our economy is a big factor, which is where Dromex we've positioned ourselves quite differently and uniquely in that sense, where you can actually get European standard products at the same low cost, so providing real value to you and your workers.
So why the need to advertise? I mean, it's such a specialist market, isn't it?
It is specialist in a sense, but there are a lot more people that use PPE than what you think. And also, I think it was about really highlighting the people who work in these environments, Jeremy. There are men and women who work every day tirelessly to bring us, basics that we need, fire protection, mining for resources such
on
as
girders, in factories, but often we don't even know who they are.
We don't even think about them, and they get blindsided and overlooked.
Which, Brandon Govender, is a dream brief for any advertising executive.
It absolutely is, but it's also quite a scary brief, because if you look at the typical sort of thing that happens in this category, it's quite product-based, and you're showing a lot of the product, and you're not actually focusing on the people that actually rely on these
and with the
products
greatest of respect, a television commercial, filled with gloves and hard hats is not going to be the most exciting thing, is it?
Absolutely right, yeah.
So what was your brief?
So our brief was essentially that we wanted to highlight the work we do, but also around the people that do it and the people that it protects.
Why was that so important to you?
It really all feeds back to the fact that we believe as a brand that all employees are entitled to maximum safety protection in their work environment. We feel as a brand that we need to be at the forefront of this move and that we need to be the ones creating this awareness. It's not just about the product. It's about the actual people who are using it.
So how did you pick that up? And what did you do with it?
Okay, so that belief statement is fundamental to everything we do for this brand. So we had to make sure that we highlighted the heroes behind these products. So those are the people that actually rely on this every single day.
So who are the heroes and how did you find them?
Okay, so the people in the commercial, a lot of them, well, most of them are actually workers in their actual environments.
No actors involved?
There are a couple of actors, let's be honest, but those are actually stuntmen, and that's for logistical reasons that we had to have certain stuntmen. For example, the scene with the tree cutting, we had to make sure we got in stunt people for that. But pretty much everyone else is actually a worker in their actual environment, which makes it quite tricky when you're shooting a commercial, because you're shooting in actual environments as opposed to studio sets.
And how was that?
Oh, it was daunting.
Tell me why.
It was very different because, we're so used to shooting on set and you really control that entire process. But when you go into a different sort of environment, these dangers are very much real. And you soon realize that as much as you feel like in quite a bit of danger, these are the things that these people feel every single day. This is actually what they do.
And I'm assuming as a result of that, real newfound respect.
Absolutely right. As soon as you're on set, you actually step out of your comfort zone, quite literally. and you realize that these people are actually the backbone of South Africa, and they're the ones that actually keep things ticking. And they're faced with these dangers, and that's why products like the stuff that Dromex sells and supplies is really important.
What's their mindset in facing those dangers every day? Are they aware of what they're doing, or is it very matter of fact?
Well, they went about their business like it was quite a matter of fact. So you standing in these things in like smelting environments and that sort of thing, and you don't know which way to turn. Apart
from advertising, and I mean, you have a product to sell, I mean, I'm assuming as well that one of the important factors here is you want to raise the debate, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, about better workplace safety. And the reality in this country is we're not very good at it at times.
The reality is our culture is that we must be tough. South Africans, you must be tough. You must just pull your socks up. You must get on with it. You must
get on with it, yeah.
You mustn't really say much. And if you do, you're generally frowned upon. Especially as an employee, you could even find yourself somewhat victimized for it. We are saying that there needs to be an awareness around safe work environments for employees, and that it is the employer's responsibility to provide that. From our side, in terms of PPE, we're saying we have a solution for both of you. We can provide a product that protects your worker and that doesn't compromise your bank balance at the end of the day. So we're actually looking at both sides of that spectrum.
Well, some very interesting and riveting and compelling advertising. Thanks to both of you for coming in.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Now, entrepreneurs are also the heroes of our economy, and one in particular managed to not just build a local streetwear brand from scratch, but here's the rub, to keep it thriving for 20 years. Born in the streets of Soweto, Loxion Kulca embodies South Africa's vibrant and varied cultures. But it hasn't always been smooth sailing for the owner, Wandi Nzimandi. Well, take a look at this insert and you can let us know what you think of it, and also our other stories on our different social media platforms. Until next time, as always, goodbye to you and thank you for watching.
My next guest once spent their last $20 to buy material to start what is now one of the biggest local clothing brands in the country, Loxion Kulca.
Loxion Kulca this year celebrates 20 years. We established Loxion Kulca in 1999. At the heart of it, I think it was really about expressing ourselves. We were part of a generation that was starting to redefine itself through garments, through music, you know, through film, through storytelling. And it was very easy for us to spread our garments to that movement, whether it was Kwaito artists, Mandoza, you know, Mapaputsi, you know, TKZ, Pro Kid, like over time. But yeah, at the heart of it, we were not trying to create a brand. We were just clothing ourselves, and it became a ripple effect. It was almost like, you know, having a flu, and we spread the flu. This flu has been around for about 20 years, and it's about how do we, you know, keep it fresh? How do we stay alive in a business where one day you're in, one day you're out? You know, I think fashion is a very complicated business, and we learn every day. You know, when we started, there was no social media at all, so we used to use Bush Telegraph, and we always believed that by people wearing it, that is the best billboard when people are using those garments. You know, so yeah, we didn't have a marketing strategy. We had friends that were musicians and artists. They didn't have budgets for big wardrobes, so you know, that's where we came in as well. So fashion for me is not only what you wear. It's what you do, it's what you drink. We always had to follow what the market was looking for or what they wanted. I mean, we started out with hats, and then it grew to t-shirts. And we used to put a sticker on those two items. Those were the only two items that we made. And whenever we created events and things like that as well, people would actually take those stickers and put them on other garments like your jeans, your bags, shoes. And for us, that was a message saying, you know, this is what we want. So we are a market-driven brand where we really rely hard on what the market is looking for, as opposed to creating a product and hope that people will buy it. People were looking for something new and something fresh. And I think that was the biggest challenge for us, where after even the third year, all of a sudden we were seen as old, you know, and people were looking for new and new. So the last, call it 17 to 18 years, we've been trying to keep ourselves fresh. And how we've kept ourselves fresh is working with designers and other creatives who basically bring in fresh ideas. When I found out that this year's Fashion Week had a space on the 6th of April, which happens to be my mother's birthday, I decided to create a show just to dedicate the 20 years of Loxion culture to her, because it was her that actually pushed us to actually create this brand.